Welcome, everyone. This is OTBN365 for May 5th, 2022, also known as Cinco de Mayo. And I'm Jeff from Jeff Needs Sports. And we're gonna have a good show. Things are going really well. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who's participated this week. The downloads and the subs and the comments have been really great. Great response to 365. Mo hosted it yesterday. Obviously is way better than me at it. We're so lucky to have him, with us at the network and one of the driving forces. He did a great job and is trying to inspires us all to think and react and comment, which is exactly what we want out of this show. We're trying to create conversation, not stir the conversation or not steer the conversation and not control the conversation. We're trying to create the conversation. So it's been a lot of fun. So if you're not already, follow Off the Ball Network on all of our social medias. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. And especially, go over to YouTube, click that subscribe button on our channel. We got a lot of content coming out every day, a lot of great personalities and really interesting stuff happening, constantly over there. It means the world to us. If you could just click that subscribe button and interact with us and talk to us, let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you think. The fans and the listeners are what drive this thing, and we appreciate you so much. So whether you're driving, you're just hanging out in the office, chilling out at home, whatever you're doing, we appreciate the time you take to enjoy our show, and we hope everything's going great for you. So let's get to it. First of all, last night, a couple NBA games. You guys know I'm an NBA fan. I watch more than that than anything. So it kind of that's how we go here. So the Heat played the 76ers again. Embiid, not obviously, but if you don't know, he's still out with the orbital bone fracture. It wasn't somehow the Sixers kept this game what I call close. I consider an NBA game close if it's 10 points, especially within 5 minutes. If it's a 10-point game or less, it's close to me because that's just how quickly these teams score. The 76ers kept it right there. I don't know how. The Heat looked like they were walking through a scrimmage out there. It never looked like they could lose control of that game. They did a great job. Just a team effort, defensive and offensively. It's without Embiid, there's no way the 76ers can get into this series. It's probably too late already, down 2-0. One bright spot for Philadelphia, which I think it's a bright spot. I know how the NBA works. He might not even be there next year. Maxey, they kind of let him get off, but he got 34 points last night, and he looks like a really good. I think him and Harris are really good players. They're good pieces of a winning team. Harden is it's over. I don't know what's going to happen in the future of his career. He had a great run. He never evolved into the winning player that we assumed he would be or thought he would be. I know I talked about this the other day, but man, you just watch him last night. The trickery and the fancy dribbles and the step backs and all that and drawing the fouls. It's just not happening because A, the shots aren't dropping, and B, the defenders just aren't as fooled as they were, so it's a combination of the two. He looks like an aging NBA star. Then I don't know what else to say. It's not going to happen. I don't see a surprise 50-point game out of Harden anymore. I hope personally he's doing great professionally. I just don't see it anymore. Whether he gets a max contract next year, that'll be a conversation for probably 2 months of the summer. But just overall, the Heat are rolling. There's not much to say here. It wasn't that great of a game. Probably if you're not a Heat fan, I'm sure it was a terrible game if you're a Sixers fan. And then we had another not game. The Suns are dialed in. If you get that terrible pun, they whooped the Mavs last night. They're really humming right now. This is the first time in a long time the Suns team I felt that the entire team was healthy. Paul and Booker went for 58 points combined last night. When they're both healthy, they're really dominant. Ayton looked good again. Luka's just not enough. And another thing, I'm not harping on this, but a bright spot for them in the first round and the guy that really they kind of leaned on besides Luka obviously was Brunson. He has 9 points last night. You can't have somebody that we're talking about, is he going to get the bag next year having 9 points in your playoff game? And I know a lot of it's the Suns defense and things like that. I'm just saying the bottom line is like they're not winning a game in this series with Brunson having 9 points. I really don't think so. Suns look great. That's just all there is to say about that. It really wasn't a very competitive game at all. Shocked at it. Again, my overwhelming takeaway from this series is people are going to start overreacting. It's going to be, get Luka help, or there's going to be crazy people, get Luka out of there, all these things, because he's such a great player that they want to get him to the finals. And I still believe that the only way that's going to happen is to not knee jerk, keep the core of the team together. You add the parts that you need. I told a guy the other day, I don't think you throw out the whole dish. You've got a decent dish. You add ingredients to the recipe to make it work better for everybody. I think that's going to be the way to get Luka to the next stage, much like we've seen the Boston Celtics do over the last couple of years. Like, I know it feels like you want to panic because we want Luka in the finals, at least the conference finals, so bad to see it. But then you get sometimes you get a Harden situation to where you move so many pieces of the puzzle around, and now we look back and the guy's got a decade and not quite what he wants to have to show for it. So I hope the Mavs are you know, you know realistic on this and calm. And I think in a couple years, Luka's, he's so young. He might have 10 years of being in the conference finals if they do this thing right, which I think they will. There's no reason to think this Mavericks organization is going to screw this up. So I got no problem with that. So yeah, that was the basketball. NHL, of course, I don't watch a lot of NHL. I try to pay attention. I've got some people around me that I talk to throughout the day that kind of fill me in on these things. But here's what we got. Like, there was 4 game 2s last night. 3 of the 4 series are already 1-1. Exactly what we expect from the NHL playoffs. 3 of the first round series are already 3 out of 4 are already 1-1. That's all we need to know. They're probably going to go to game 7s. I'll put it this way. The NHL has the most competitive playoffs in sports. I won't sit here and say best. I prefer the NBA. NFL had one of the best playoffs they ever had just coming off, but consistently year in and year out, pound for pound, the NHL has the most competitive playoffs in all of sports, and it's amazing. So things are heating up there. Hopefully we get some hockey guys on here to kind of spice things up as this thing goes on. I'm not that guy. I don't want to embarrass myself by trying to break down these games. I kind of tune in, see what's going on. I look at the scores, and I see how things go. I will, full disclosure, I will not lie to anybody. I will not fake it when it comes to the NHL. I think that's disrespectful. But things are going good for fans. That's what I know. So and so then now we can talk about, like we did the other day, I kind of talk about what's coming across, my bow. Like what's my timeline? What's the conversation that I feel is driving my timeline. Obviously, again, I'm a football guy, college football guy. So yesterday it was a ton of conversation about this Ryan Tannehill. I called it Ryan Tannehill versus Kurt Warner. So if you don't know, in a synopsis, they asked Ryan Tannehill about mentoring Malik Willis, and he said, I'm summarizing here quickly. Basically, I'm, that's my job is not to mentor him. I'm here to win a championship. He's talked about how, burnt he was after losing, that playoff game last year to the Bengals, how bad it hurt. I mean, I honestly got there before it. Totally applaud him for his full disclosure. That's the number one thing I want to say is I applaud any, grown man that like speaks honestly and doesn't give us, the cookie cutter clips he actually gives us some substance at a press conference. And that's one thing I don't like, is that it's kind of a negative feeling that he's being honest. That's your classic fickle sports world. If he gives us the Tom Brady, completely vanilla, really didn't say anything, then we're like, give us something. And then Tannehill gives us, something from honestly some really private stuff and some deep down stuff. And then we start picking it apart. It is what it is. So what I'm speaking on mostly though is, he just says, I'm not here to mentor Malik Willis. This is my job. He's in the and this is what I like because these are actually some thoughts I wrote down. But Tannehill said it himself. He's in the same quarterback room. He's got the same coaches. He's got the same opportunity, like to do his job and learn, just like I am. I am. I'm. It's not my place to to teach him. I personally agree with that because I don't think that that means that Ryan Tannehill wouldn't go, wouldn't I don't know, wouldn't go help him start his gas grill in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think he's saying I think it's implied that like I'm gonna ignore this guy and make it hard for him, kind of like what happened with Favre and Rodgers, in Green Bay. I think he's simply saying it's his job. This is his team, and why shouldn't he feel that way? This is Ryan Tannehill's team. He's the reason that for their success over the last few years, and he's worked hard. We're talking to be a wide receiver from college that became a really a good NFL, a playoff NFL quarterback. He's playoff level NFL quarterback. Whatever you want to rank him, that's up to you. He's playoff level NFL quarterback, and he's brought himself to all that. He got himself you know traded to a great organization. Now he didn't force it. But I'm saying through his talent, and then he's excelled, and they've been very successful under him in Tennessee. It would be ridiculous to think that he's going to take any of that time when he knows they've got a Super Bowl team. Like his team can go to the Super Bowl. He's not going to divide his time up. If he's in the practice room, he's not there to mentor Willis. He is there to get better and make his team better. And that's how I take it. I don't think it's anything against Willis. And I think Willis should be doing the same thing every second of every, practice, every, coaching clinic, every film room. Willis ought to be trying to take that job because he's there to do a job also. So I think, and I think that's better for both players. I don't think the mentorship thing. No, we're way past that. You're professionals now. Sorry, it's just not how this works. It doesn't have to be a battle. It doesn't have to be animosity. Doesn't mean they'll interact as quarterbacks, but a mentor is a different thing. Kurt Warner, the Hall of Fame quarterback, now broadcaster Kurt Warner, speaks up, jumps on Tannehill a little hard. I thought, he's like, that's ridiculous. I don't know why anybody would say this. Call me, Willis, if you need a mentor. Any of you quarterbacks, call me if you need a mentor. I'm happy to do it. All that, which that's fine. You're a retired NFL quarterback. That's literally what you ought to be doing, as opposed to Tannehill, who is an active. He's only 33 years old. Trying to run a franchise that's got the realistic shot that they were the number one seed in the AFC last year. Got a realistic shot at Super Bowl. You're two different people. So yes, Kurt, that does make more sense that you would be a mentor because you've got a TV job, and you spend a decent amount of time working on your hair. Other than that, yeah, that's what you should be doing. I think that's a great offer. You don't have to slight Tannehill to do that. Like Kurt Warner could have privately contacted Willis, any other quarterback, or went through coaches. He could have went through a lot of steps to actually offer help instead of publicly, trying to, I don't know, shame Tannehill. That's what I don't like about it. You know what I mean? Like I think I've got I've had jobs over the years. I've got, a job that there's plenty of people that work there and there's plenty of young people that start. I don't yell out, in the break room, something, hey, that guy's not doing enough to help you. I'll do it. No, you see a guy in the hallway. You're like, hey, man, how's it going? You know what I mean? Do you need anything? Just let me know. Here's my number, whatever. Text me. Warner could have easily went behind the scenes and actually tried to help. But now, how can Willis reach out? Because if Willis reaches out now, what we have is a situation where they're like, uh-oh, like now Kurt has made it impossible for Willis to reach out to him because now it's Tannehill against Warner, and it's Warner against the coaches and all these things. It was a silly thing for Warner to do, but nobody calls him on this because it's one of those things. It's Kurt Warner and he says this, and at face value, you're like, yeah, that's right. What a great guy, blah, 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 blah. And I don't have any reason to think that Kurt Warner's not a great guy, but my point is he polarized it. And so now it's over. Now that Willis can't actually go to Warner for help because now it's Warner versus Tannehill and the Titans. So, that's how I see it. So therefore he's actually counteracted himself. He's actually not being a mentor. That's exactly what a mentor would not do, because that was the exact wrong way to take that. So that kind of came across my bow. We had a lot of conversations about that. I was going to dig into some of this NIL stuff, but there's going to be plenty of time to do that. I want to talk about how this pushback on the NIL and basically this. I'll leave you with this: the only solutions I've seen, for to kind of reel this NIL situation in and the transfer portal is to take stuff away from the players. It's always take away from the players. It's never take away from the universities. It's never take away from the sponsors. It's never take away from the networks. It's always the players. Like, how do we fix this? I don't know. Let's take rights away from the players. That seems like the easiest thing. Again, I want everything to be like it was because I don't want what I love to change, and that'll never work. That will never work. In America. It just overall. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of what I have to say on the NIL. Shout out Jay Stevens. If anybody wants to hear some in-depth stuff about college football and some thoughts on this, I know Jay Stevens on Locked On Buckeyes has a lot of stuff coming up. So don't be scared to check that out. He's a great friend of the show and a good friend of mine. And that's a great source if you want to hear some more in-depth going on right now. So that being said, again, thank you everybody for being here. It's this has been a great start to this show. Had a lot of success this week. Got a lot of momentum going, a lot of energy going, and it's all because of you. We appreciate it. You're the best. We hope you have a great day. Again, subscribe to that YouTube channel. You can find us on all the podcast platforms. Any likes, shares, reviews, you guys know the deal. If you're watching this, we love all that. And again, let's hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you want us to talk about on 365 going to the future. So have a great day, everyone. This is